and The Shallows have really kicked up, like bringing back sharks in a serious manner.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about Sharknado. But yeah, anyway, it's really interesting for them to have brought that back so many years later.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up to you. I did actually see 47 Meters
Down.
Yeah.
Because it's on Netflix now.
Yes, I finally watched it, and it's good.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Pretty fucking...
It's gnarly, man.
Yeah.
That scene that you see in the trailers, the one where she lights the flare.
Yeah.
But it still got me when, when I'm watching it and she lights the flare, and then there's...
Because it's like pitch... It's darkness.
It's just black, yeah, and you just hear them talking. They're just like, oh my god, I need the flare, blah, blah, blah. And then she lights the flare, and there's like 4 sharks around her.
Surrounding them.
And it's insane.
Just the shot. Yeah.
Just that, yeah. Because then it goes in slow motion. You see them right there, and it's just so crazy. And that's why I hate the water. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we can't... I don't... That's too new of a film to... I was going to talk to you about the ending, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that off air.
Okay, yeah.
Later. But Deep Blue Sea 2 is directed by Darren Scott, who did the old school Tales from the Hood from the 90s, which is it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And the Blu-ray release hasn't been... I guess there's no confirmed date, but it says coming soon.
Okay.
I still have some more.
Oh,
I
snap.
got a little... Yeah, I got some more than usual tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Rob Zombie is rumored to start filming his follow-up to Devil's Rejects pretty soon. Ooh. The working title is said to be The Devil's Rejects 2 3 from Hell. No official word has been leaked on the direction of the plot as of yet. Mike Flanagan, who did the recent Gerald's Game, a couple weeks, or maybe it was last month sometime, but I had talked about how Mike went on record saying that he would really like to direct the Shining sequel called Dr. Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess because of his, he's kind of on a winning streak as far as horror and people liking his stuff. So now he got his wish, man. He's officially directing Dr. Sleep. And for anybody who doesn't know about that book, also by Stephen King, it pretty much throws you back into the life of Danny, who's the basically the real star of the original film. Mm-hmm. He's the kid in the original, and now you meet him back, and he's middle-aged.
Okay.
And he gets thrown in this scenario where his shining powers basically come back, and all these supernatural things start happening to him. So I think it should be pretty interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Especially because that filmmaker, he's real good.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And then that brings us to our next segment.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you got anything, start it off.
Yes, I do. I have one, just one. And it is a movie that... I actually found this at a thrift store, and the movie's called Ready to Rumble.
With David Arquette.
Yes.
Yeah, about wrestling. Right?
Yeah. This movie basically takes place, I'm not really entirely sure what year it's supposed to take place, but at the peak of like wrestling, when wrestling was like insane, when everyone loved wrestling. And these two guys, they're like probably like in their mid-20s, and all they do is fantasize about wrestling, and they're specifically wrestling with this made-up character called the King, and they're watching. Basically, the King goes missing, and they put it on themselves to find out where he went. He loses in a match, and they think it's unfair to him what happened, and they go on this journey to find out what happened to him and where he is. And it's just a crazy movie. It's hilarious. I think this is probably one of David Arquette's best films as a comedian.
Okay.
And but yeah, this is it. I think it's a really good time if you just want to watch a movie that's kind of silly and And if you're a fan of wrestling,
So, what format did you find it at the thrift store?
on DVD, they only made it on DVD.
It's not on Blu-ray?
There's no Blu-ray.
Really?
I've looked for it. I don't think there is.
It hasn't got its time yet?
No, I've looked for it on the DVD on Amazon is $35.
Oh, so it's out of print.
Yeah.
That means they don't print. Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, and I found it and I got it for $1. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your one and only?
Yeah, my one and only. Ready to Rumble.
Ready to Rumble.
Check it out.
Okay. I have a few.
Oh yeah.
I have two for film, one for TV.
Okay.
We'll start off with film since yours is a film, right?
Yes.
That makes sense. So my first one is Mom and Dad,
Okay.
which is it's a brand new film. I think it just hit VOD this past Friday, and it's in select theaters right now.
Is that the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Oh, that movie looked pretty. It looked pretty good.
Yes. So I got to watch it. It's starring, as you said, Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair. A lot of people know I don't like Nick Cage, but
Yeah.
he really surprised me in this. He kind of goes back to his roots, and he's good at freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that in this. But so it's basically a terrorist plot turns parents against their kids, and a young girl and her little brother are forced to team up against their folks.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's got a 74 on Rotten, and it's a fucking good time, man. It only runs maybe like an hour and 25 minutes, so it's really fast paced. They get to the point. There's some crazy gore, crazy fights, a lot of cool dialogue, and it's just super creative. And they take what sounds like an absurd synopsis and they really drive it home and make it work. So for anybody who's into this kind of thing, for like a thriller horror type of deal, check it out. You should be able to rent it. I'm sure it's only a couple bucks. I think it's an independent film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's in
Mom and Dad.
Select theaters.
Yeah, I think you can. Well, if you're in our county, San Diego, you can catch it at Fashion. I think they're playing it at Fashion Valley, and probably smaller places as well. But yeah, it's called Mom and Dad. My next one I just watched the other night is called Hostiles.
Ooh, okay.
Starring Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, Ben Foster, and Wes Studi. It's set in the backdrop of the late 1800s about a highly respected Army captain named Joe Blocker, who is ordered to escort a sick Cheyenne war chief and his family back to their native land. It's got a 72 on Rotten, and this movie was fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of those, the Western is nearly extinct, right?
Yeah.
We only get them when, Tarantino decides to make a spaghetti Western or big events like that. But this, it was written and directed by Scott Cooper, who's done, he did Out of the Furnace. He did that movie that you like, Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
Crazy Heart. He's somebody who's also not striking out in the film game, and he's super underrated. And yeah, this is a fantastic movie, man.
Nice. It's in theaters, right now?
Yeah, it just came out this past Friday as well. This was one of the ones that I've been talking about for a while. It came out last year so it could make the cut for the Oscars, I believe, or Academy Awards. But it was just released wide this past weekend.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, if you like stuff in the vein of 310 to Yuma or anything like that, definitely go watch it on the big screen.
Okay.
One of the craziest fucking demented brutal openings I've ever seen
Oh, okay.
depicted on film at all. I think it's just fucking literally minutes into the movie.
Oh, wow.
Something happens.
Yeah.
It's just fucking incredible. But yeah, go watch it, guys. Hostiles. It's great. So moving on to TV Rex. Sorry to be talking guys' ears off, and we're not even into the film focus yet. But Boy Meets World.
Ah, yes.
I've been binge watching this on Hulu for a couple weeks now. It follows a young 6th grader, Coy Matthews, as we all know and love, I hope.
Yes.
Throughout his youth up until his college days, and basically chronicles the life and times of Coy Matthews and his family.
Yes.
And friends.
If you've never watched this show, I feel sorry for you. You're missing out, or you have missed out on a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it teaches you, or it taught us a lot of life lessons through TV, right?
Yeah.
More so, I've always been a bigger fan of this show more than Full House or any of those shows. I think this one, I don't know what it was about it. It was just more raw and funny, and so witty. The dialogue still plays good today. Like watching it now, I still think all this stuff's funny.
Yeah,
and that's hard to do, you know.
My favorite episode from that show. I remember watching it after school. And it scared the crap out of me. It was the Halloween one when they're in high school, and it's the you guys should know what I'm talking about if you're a fan of the show. It's the Halloween one where everyone's getting murdered or whatever, but yes, they're getting murdered on a Disney Channel show. Yes. Oh, finally. But no, yeah. That's my favorite episode, probably my most memorable episode of that show. You should definitely check it out if you haven't.
I don't think I've gotten to that one yet. I'm in the end of the second season or beginning of the third. I think.
Okay, I think it's like in the how many seasons are there?
7.
So I want to say it's probably in the 5th or 4th, mid-4th or something.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
It's like a little Halloween. Oh, it's so good.
So we're capping off recommendations.
Yes.
For the week and moving on to the reason why everybody's actually here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
Oh yeah. As we said earlier, we're talking about Point Break. Which came out in 91. It's a hard R, crime thriller, 2 hours and 3 minutes. It's got a kind of disappointing 68 on Rotten. It's about a young FBI agent who goes deep undercover to try to catch a highly professional team of heistmen who happen to enjoy surfing in their spare time.
Oh, man. So good.
Starring Keanu Reeves, the great, the immortal Patrick Swayze.
Oh, bow down to him.
Lori Petty, Gary Busey, and John C. McGinley, who was actually in Seven for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, thanks for always picking a cool counterpart. And we're going to open up the floor for our questions.
Okay.
And discussions.
Yes. I actually have one. Would you say that this movie is as entertaining as it was when the first time you saw it, or when you were, the time you remember seeing it?
Man, this is one of the only movies that I can remember exact fragments being, I don't know, like super young, maybe even before I started school, watching this with my mom while it was on TV.
Really?
I can remember, specific scenes. Like I definitely I can remember the big chase scene where he throws the dog at him and stuff. It's weird. I can like play it back in my mind and know exactly where it was sitting and stuff. It's really weird. But going back to your question, I absolutely think that this holds up. It's just a all around great film that really can stand the test of time. I think it's still relevant. It's got a great Southern California, like they really capture how the locals treat outsiders, and how they're very like a tight knit community, similar to like Lord's Dogtown or the Dogtown and Z Boys.